Kia ora, welcome back. Welcome to video number 11 of this series for web building. Alright, in this video I think it's time to look at div classes. So far we've looked at ID classes or div IDs. A div ID is unique. You can use one div ID in one particular style and call it up once on a page. So we've used a div ID for our header, we've used a div ID in our navigation, we've had a container, a content and sections that are all div IDs as well as a footer. This time what we're going to do is use these div classes, and we can use it for multiple times on the same page, one particular styling, so that's cool. So these H2 headings I think are a good place to use a div class. And we could put them in a button, center the text, make the button this mid-orangey colour, and give it some curves. Let's go. So on the HTML page, we need to alter the H2 heading names. Now, there are two different ways that we could do this. The first is we'll leave the H2 and we'll just add class. Once it shows up, we get the equals in parentheses, and I'm just going to call it, it's a very boring name, I'm going to call it H2. Right, now, by doing that, if I click onto the H2 opening tag, it highlights my H2 closing tag. So that's why this is a nice easy way to start with. The other way the other syntax I could use is actually call it a div class. So div class. Come on. There we go. And then I get my info. I'm calling it H2. Now, if I was to do this at the moment, I'd have to remember to go and change my closing tags because they should be div. At the moment, I get the yellow squiggle going, hey, there's something wrong. And if I was to click on the opening div class H2 tag, it's going to say, oh, your closing tag's down here. This is actually the closing tag of the div ID aside. So that's going to create confusion. That's not good. So if we were to do that, we'd just change this to a div. And you can see the yellow squiggle goes away. We can click onto the closing tag, which highlights the opening tag. Oops, go away, and all is good. However, we are going to use method 1 because we've already named our tags. So we're just going to add in the fact it's going to be a class and its unique name. Make sure you name it something that is logical to you. That's really important. All right, save. On to the style sheet. So you can see now our style sheet is getting quite big, and you can see why the comments through it are useful, particularly comments that break up the different sections. So just these dotted lines. And I've been in and I've put a dotted line just above the header so that I can see where my content section is. So I want to put this piece of padding in that content section, and it's going to go under the ID classes that I styled previously. The ID class starts with a hashtag, the div class starts with a dot, and then the div class's name. So we'll identify it. Curly braces, and off we go styling. So the first thing I should do is decide on my font family, and actually I wanted to bring in a different font family, this one. Now if I click on shopping bag, that allows me to see these, and actually I'm not sure if I've put that into the header here, so I'm just going to copy and paste that. Nope, missed. Right, so that's all that stuff. So I've now got 3 fonts that I've saved in here. And then if I jump back over to the style and back over to the page, I can go and grab this, the font family, shadows into light. Right, so that's my starting point. So I better give my font the size. So I'm going to use EMs. I'm going to try 1.5 EMs to see what that looks like. It would be good at this stage. 2. I want a radius, so let's do that border radius thing. Now, we could use EMs, we could use percentages. Let's just have a look at that so that we know what it looks like. I'm going to choose 15%. Okay, 50% will give us a circle. And we'll have a look at that in a moment. We better add a little bit of padding. We need the background colour. Let's do that right now. I want that colour, so I'll just copy and paste that. And there's no mistakes. We say some padding. My padding needs to be top and bottom because left and right, well, I'm going to centre it. I could do auto. So top bottom, that's my first bit. So I want a decent chunk. Oh, EM. Don't know whether this will work like that, but we'll give it a go. And text align center. We possibly don't need that. We can check that in the inspect. Oh, that's in the right place. Let's go and see what. Oops. Get the page and see what we've done. Have we done anything? Have I saved everything? Oops. Don't want an S. I'm going to Control S. No, Control S here. And then, oops, not a shift. Control R for refresh. There it goes. Oh, that's interesting. That's not what I was expecting, but that's kind of interesting. That'll be to do with the fact it's long. I quite like the text. I like that it's centered. Needs a bit more border at the top and bottom, I reckon. And let's go for some numbers. So I don't like percentage. Let's try 1 EM. And padding. Oh yeah, I think we'll go back to doing. Or did I want on to top? And size. Just see what that does. Ah, that's better. That's what I'm expecting. Rounds. Cool. Evidently, and I haven't tried this, if I was to write, I'm just going to do that percentage thing again. If I was to do percentage, it should turn it into a circle, but it might not because of the width. Oh yeah, fine. Cool. So if you had something that was square, that could become a circle. Anyway, we will go back to, what did I have it? 1 EM. Anyway, I can fiddle around with that until I like the look of it. Fantastic. Now, there's one thing I noticed, just a wee bit of tidying up here. I'm going to make that text a little bit bigger. And in this header area, there's too much padding here at the bottom. So I need to use my inspect tool. Now, if you ever get this bit, there's an X over on the right hand side that you can close, because all you see here at the top is the HTML in the body, and you can't actually access all of your divisions for the HTML. But if I do this, there they go, and this is what we need, because we want to go to our container, have a look at the header, we'll jump into here. Here's our HTML. Now, what was I looking at? Sorry, I've got myself sidetracked. In the header, locate, it's this bit here I'm quite interested in. Oh, it's my cat slipping onto the table. I think there's a bit too much space around here, so I'm going to have a look in the header ID and stop it. The other thing that I thought I was going to do, I was going to make that text a bit bigger. So let's do that first. We'll change that to 2. Check that out. It's a bit bigger. There's too much space around it. So, oops, 1 EM of padding I think looks a bit big. Maybe we'll try, that'll be quite different in look. So I've just halved it. Maybe that's looking better. No, stay there. And let's see if we can just sort out that header area. So going right up the top, and now around the whole header there's 1 EM, and then in this header that is targeting the H1, we've also got a bit of padding. So what I'm going to try and do is go, okay, so it's top, left, left, top, right, bottom, left. So I want to have 0 for the bottom. Let's have a look at this. That looks better. Cool. And it's always good to have a look at it in another browser as well. And so I have the inspect open on that. And it's quite interesting because the inspect shows at the bottom half of the screen. So this is what it looks like on Firefox. And if we go into inspect here, so it shows down below, it also uses some different colors. So the padding is purple. So it's just a good one to look at. Now, the other thing that I thought would be quite nice is to get a bit of border radius on that image. Let's see if we can sort that out. The easiest way is to do some inline style. So we've got external style sheet, which is what we're using here. So it's a sheet or a file that is separate from the HTML sheet or file, sorry. We can do internal styling, which happens in the head. And what you would do is you would pop in style, you'd have opening and closing, and off you'd go in here. But that could get really bulky if you're going, not good practice to style a whole website in the head area using internal styling. So that's why we have the external. But sometimes you just want to do something specific. So such as this image here, I've already done a little bit of inline styling. So it's in line with the element that we want to style. And I've said I want it to display block. What I mean by that is underneath the text, I've given it a margin of 0 auto. So 0 top bottom auto to center it. And then I've given it a little bit of padding all around of 10 pixels. And so the other thing that we could add here inside the parentheses, so we need to add a semicolon, would be border radius. Now let's hope I spelled that right. Otherwise it's not going to recognise me. Oh yeah, border radius will try 15 pixels, add a semicolon, save it. And there is a very gentle curve, which indicates to me I could use a bigger number. And I could use EMs here, which would be good. Oh yeah, that looks better. Oh, okay. Quite happy with that. Oh, that bit there. Need to sort that out. Footer, style. Oh, there we go. Padding, margin, padding. Now we want to use the same as we had at the top, but we do want, so it's going to be 1 EM all round. Padding. I think I changed that somewhere along the lines. Oh yeah, that's better. So it just is eased off into the middle. Cool. Okay, I think that's looking pretty good. I'll stop now because it's 14 minutes. Stop.